The poor security guard suddenly found that his daughter was likely to become the world champion in the future. So before they came to the human world, he had already written a professional plan for them for 80 pages. This not only made the neighbors think he was a little crazy, but also thought he was using his daughter as a money-making tool. However, this misunderstood father has a firm and unwavering belief and has cultivated the brilliant stars of the two tennis worlds. Although he hasn't been in a lot of blood, Richard has a deep sense of reason. Professional affairs should be left to professional people to deal with. So when the daughters were just 10 years old, he began to work tirelessly, wandering around the major tennis clubs and recommending his daughter to the coaches without hesitation. However, in that era, tennis was regarded as a white man's sport. As a black man, Richard has experienced countless white eyes and rejections. His plan seems to be just a joke to others, but Richard is not discouraged by it. He has been collecting teaching knowledge from the magazine day after day. No matter how bad the weather is, he insists on training his daughters in person. Finally, a coach was attracted by the talent of the two sisters, but Richard made an impossible condition. He needs the other party to pay all the training costs. Such a requirement makes many people despair. After all, tennis is a sport with high technical requirements. Success is not easy, but with the rapid improvement of the strength of the sisters, Richard realized that his teaching knowledge was not enough to support their growth. On this day, he decided to challenge his fate again. Richard brought his daughters to a club. Although he was rejected as usual, he did not give up. Under Richard's soft touch, he finally won a chance to show his daughters in front of the coach. It was this relentless effort that made the coach see the tremendous potential of the two sisters. But Richard made an impossible condition. He needs the other party to pay all the training costs. Such a requirement makes many people despair. After all, tennis is a sport with high technical requirements. Success is not easy, but with the rapid improvement of the strength of the sisters, Richard realized that his teaching knowledge was not enough to support their growth. On this day, he decided to challenge his fate again. Richard brought his daughters to a club. Although he was rejected as usual, he did not give up. Under Richard's soft touch, he finally won a chance to show his daughters in front of the coach. It was this relentless effort that made the coach see the gain from this. I want to win the world championship as many times as anyone's ever won it. Do you think you can do that? Who on the tour do you want to play like? Well, I'd like other people to want to play like me. Although the coach recognized the talent of the two sisters, he did not intend to take the risk. In the end, he chose Dawei, who has free training potential. Although his sister was full of resentment, she could only accept this reality. In order not to let Xiaowei fall behind, Richard recorded the whole process of every training. After returning home, he asked Xiaowei to practice with the video. Not long after, Dawei participated in the championship for the first time. He was so nervous that he made a mistake in serving. However, his father's encouragement on the side gradually relaxed him. He told Dawei to enjoy the game. Having fun is the most important thing. His father's words were like a heart-stopping pill that helped Dawei find the rhythm of the game. In the next game, he defeated his opponents one by one like a beast. He won the first trophy in his life. When the coach saw it, he immediately signed up for a higher-class game for him. Dawei, who has always been the champion, was more fierce in the subsequent games. He often defeated his opponents. Even the coach left the field in advance due to humiliation. When the daughters were celebrating and discussing tennis in the car, his father was worried. He realized that the children's self-indulgence might become a stepping stone for their future. So he gave the two of them some money and asked them to buy drinks. Then he took the opportunity to drive away to give them a lesson. Luckily, his wife stopped Richard's impulsive behavior in time. Their success caused jealousy among the neighbors. The other party even reported Richard's family of abused children. Faced with the accusation, Richard firmly explained his strictness to ensure that the children would not be deceived and would not be addicted to gangs or drugs. In the end, the police did not find any evidence. Their innocence proved that Richard's educational achievements were verified on the field. As long as the daughters compete, the Champion and runner-up are almost their belongings. With the rise of fame, brands and coaches have offered to cooperate. They hope that David will sign an agreement to reduce the training fee of $100,000 a year to represent their participation in international competitions. Richard rejected this. He thought this was a tool to make money for the children. So Richard made a bold decision and firmly dismissed the coach and stopped the daughters from participating in any competition. He thought the children should enjoy childhood instead of undergoing great pressure. This decision caused the wife's dissatisfaction because the family's economic situation was not good, and such an opportunity is undoubtedly a life-saving straw. But Richard was determined that no one could shake the excellent performance of the daughters. Richard soon contacted the top coach in the United States, Messi. He has a rich experience as a coach and an international tennis school. At a glance, Messi saw David's talent and quickly drafted a contract considering that Richard's family could not afford it. He proposed to use 15% of David's future income as his own return. Richard sent the plan to Messi and clearly stated that this was a family participation agreement. Messi not only needs to train the daughters in person but also provides housing, cars, and the best school for the family, including Richard's job. Although the conditions are tough, but in the face of the huge benefits of money, Messi still accepted it. In this way, the whole family moved to Florida. In the club, they met the top tennis players in the United States. 3 years passed in a flash. During this period, David did not participate in a game but focused on training and learning. The outside world was divided and thought that Richard was just a hypocrite who bragged about himself. But Richard didn't care. He knew the importance of the opportunity. However, Richard did not realize the desire of the daughters to step on the field. Until one day, David found his father and honestly expressed his heart. "They're not gonna let you down." Until that moment, Richard finally realized that the children had grown up and had the ability to face the world independently. 3 years later, David once again fused by the contract. He firmly rejected Nike's proposal because he knew the real battlefield was tomorrow. On the day of the game, David did not let everyone down. Although he lost 2 games at the beginning because he was nervous, he quickly adjusted his mentality and completed today's reversal. This performance once again made Nike see David's infinite potential. They decided to raise the bargaining chip and raise the contract amount from $3 million to $4 million. However, Richard still insisted on his daughter's point of view and decided to look at it for a while. The coach told him this was a good opportunity to win fame and gain benefits. David will face Sanchez tomorrow, the so-called strongest player on the surface. Even the sponsor couldn't help but praise him. Rick, if she beats Vicario, a 14-year-old who's never played a match, walks off the street and beats the best player on the planet. Forget only Frazier. It'll be the greatest upset in the history of sports. But Richard was distrustful of his daughter's ability. He watched his second daughter watch the game. His father also solved the mystery in his heart. "It's a little hard for you, too." He planned all this. He knew his daughter wanted to surpass his sister. Richard deliberately didn't let Vicario show off too early. He wanted to train his mind through constant challenge and pressure to make him tougher and stronger. On that critical night, David finally won his championship. He will fight with a talented genius to win the world's first throne. The game was so eye-catching that the whole venue was in a daze. At the beginning of the game, the opponent's relaxed vigilance gave David a chance. He attacked the opponent like a hurricane and won the score in one move. This made him more confident and began to lead the game. No matter how careful the opponent is, David's strong, explosive force made him powerless. David scored again. At this time, the Spanish player began to use some tricks. He used the bathroom as an excuse to delay the time. This is undoubtedly a disadvantage for David, although the coach reminded him not to be distracted and stay in shape. For a 14-year-old child, it's not easy. 10 minutes later, the Spanish player finally returned to the venue. David was anxious at this time, but his opponent had adjusted his state. Faced with David's attack, he was no longer nervous. Instead, David lost his previous sense of touch and made many mistakes. Although the coach comforted him to slowly adjust, but as the Score gradually increased. David was in an unprecedented crisis. The game finally ended. David, who was talented, could not defeat his opponent. He hid in the changing room alone, full of confusion in his heart. He didn't know how to face his parents and coach who had always supported him. Under the gentle comfort of his father, David finally gathered up his courage and walked out of the venue. He was greeted by a group of fans who were convinced by his excellent skills. Their cheers and encouragement were like the warmth of spring, warming his heart. This story was adapted from a true story. In the second spring, David and Nick signed a contract worth 12 million yuan, and his sister appeared on the stages of major tennis tournaments. To this day, David has won the championship 5 times, and when her sister retired, she won the championship 23 times in her career. She is regarded as one of the greatest players in the history of tennis. Compared to the young fans of children, Richard values more the strength of patience, family, and education.